Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy this video, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so, to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification icon, to be notified when the next one is uploaded. We'd also like to urge those of you who haven't yet done so, to sign our online petition for an inquiry into the BBC and Channel 4's coverage of Lewis Hamilton and Abu Dhabi. A link has been provided in the description. If you are on X, then please repost our tweet. Thank you. Let us start off by saying how much we love and appreciate all the support we have been getting from all over the world. We are particularly pleased to see we are developing a network of activist supporters who are going out to independently confirm what we are saying for themselves and coming back to share their findings with us. We are also humbled by those who are sharing their enhanced knowledge and experience with us. And as long as we continue to grow and share our experiences, then we will reach our objective when setting up this channel, which was to bring F1 to the find out stage of effing around with Sir Lewis. What is colloquially referred to as F1 FAFO. In our previous video, covering the anti-Lewis bile that the BBC were putting out during the Chinese GP, we urged Ferrari to push back strongly, and thankfully several of our people, we got to come up with a name for ourselves, so drop any suggestions in the comments, let us know that they did. Naturally, we followed up on their suggestions and were extremely pleased to see that Fred has called them out publicly, and will be having a meeting with FOM on the matter. We would therefore like to put it out there that they should understand that one meeting ain't going to do it. They will need to take permanent steps along the lines suggested by us and at COP Justin, because they are dealing with people that have fed long and fat on their conspiracy with Toto. Consequently, we are urging Ferrari to appoint someone specifically to handle all the Lewis Hamilton hate spewing out of F1. Of course, we understood the role that the ex-Ferrari men played in 2021, and how Ferrari thought it expedient to look the other way when their former icon John Todt did what he did. The general dislike of MBS may have provided a cover for many, but we can't and will never forget that Todt was at the helm when Abu Dhabi happened. The fact that he and Ferrari are now estranged is just one of those things. We knew all this but nevertheless prayed for Hamilton to leave Mercedes for Ferrari, because we believed that that will be the tipping point in the battle against the hatred that was being enabled by Toto and Mercedes. And lo and behold, 2 races into the season, Ferrari are having to demand a meeting. Let us be clear, they are going to need more than a meeting with FOM, they are going to need a department specifically designated to pushing back against any crap wherever they find it, because the F1 media have been at it for 18 years, and will not stop because of one meeting with FOM. Furthermore, what happened in China was not a random isolated incident, it was part of a sinister plot to use the radio communications to systemically undermine Sir Lewis by smearing him. Yes people, we are on top of it, we have them banged to rights, because we have documented them in real time. We have documented that their MO is to sneak the initial smear into the public domain, then others reference it as source, to produce headlines that go viral, and after some time, it is difficult if not impossible to trace the initial source. But because we have stayed on top of them despite the nausea that wells up inside of us during the process, we can show you the timeline. At the top of the tree, we have Sky, the official English language broadcaster, BBC, the biggest news source in the world, and whatever French channel at later la phrase watched the Chinese GP on, which we believe might be Canal+. We have documented how Brundle made the completely unhinged and totally misleading claim that Hamilton was angsty during his clean radio communications with his engineer, in the middle of his debut race, which just happened to be one of the most chaotic races ever. He clearly did this to smear Sir Lewis with the same brush that he had used to protect Max when he had chosen to describe him as angsty, when the potty-mouthed Dutch was swearing on the radio, moving under braking and having a second go at disabling Lando's car after causing an initial collision that looked to have disabled his Red Bull. There is no better example of racism than angsty equals Lewis in Australia or Max in Austria. Brundle, describing the Britain as angsty, then provided the news vultures with their viral headlines. The evidence that this was not a random or isolated incident can be found in the very next race, when the BBC's text commentary of the Chinese GP was littered with sneaky smears, including falsely reporting that he had been responsible for the collision with his teammate at the start, and was resistant to swapping positions later in the race. Thanks to @later we have been informed that the French commentators subsequently revised their initial conclusion that he had not been at fault. So, it is clear that someone is keeping a close eye on all those who have been accredited to comment on races to ensure that they smear Sir Lewis at every opportunity. It was not a coincidence that the messages were edited to give the negative impression that the primed media were quick to run with. It is not a coincidence that in the two opening races, radio messages provided the platform for disseminating false information targeted at smearing Sir Lewis, involving Sky at the outset and the BBC and a French channel in the next stage. They trialled it during the first race, with Brundle effecting the smear in his Sky column days after the race, because it would have been undermined by the live transmission of the messages. After what they would have seen as a successful smearing event without any pushback from Ferrari, who left it up to their driver to address the issue during the weekend build-up to the Chinese GP, they stepped it up. We didn't monitor the BBC's text commentary of Australia, so we are unable to comment on it, as we have been unable to locate it. This is exactly why it is critical that we were able to catch their commentary on China, to link with @later comments on the French channel, which we believe could be Canal+, but we await the confirmation. So, in real time we can identify the smear tactics specific to the radio communications as they were expanded from the first to the second race. This was no random coincidence, and if Ferrari are not aware, then share this and our previous videos with them and their associates. They should be demanding explanations from the BBC, Sky, the French channel and anybody else that publishes unhinged smears about the GOAT. The BBC should be required to explain all the comments that Benson and others made during the race, that were insidiously smearing Sir Lewis, including but not limited to. What's interesting about this is Lewis Hamilton is saying he will decide when to swap, but that is not how it works at Ferrari. It's ingrained in the team that the drivers race for Ferrari and Ferrari is more important. There's a bit of clash of culture going on there. Well, thanks to Fred's quick response, we now know that it was Hamilton that offered to swap, and the broadcast was edited to smear him by suggesting otherwise. But who are those not reporting on the clarification? Yes, that would be the BBC and Sky. That is what is called consciousness of guilt, because if they had been acting in good faith and had been misled by what was broadcast, they would have immediately acknowledged it publicly with a retraction and an apology, and criticized F1 for deliberately misleading them. But because they were part of the conspiracy and had been primed in advance, they have been caught out by Fred's rebuttal, and it will take some time before they acknowledge, if at all. Ferrari should have no illusions about the task ahead of them, and they should understand that they need to shield Sir Lewis from all of it, because the main goal of his detractors is to break through his mental armor. They need to make it clear that they are the ones taking any action on behalf of the team, and any media boycotts should apply to all of the team, and all of the particular media organization. So, for example, nobody from Ferrari should talk to any representative of any boycotted media organization. Forza Ferrari.